Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. A number of people have asked me to look into the play that ended the NFL preseason game, Seattle Seahawks visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of people think this play looked scripted, and their eyes did not deceive them. They are 100% correct. This was a scripted tribute to Super Bowl 48, which the Seahawks won, and probably some planned event later in the season. If you're new to my channel, I have exposed something that was never exposed in this world before, and that is the way that professional sports are scripted to the point, scripted no different than theater performances or movies, predetermined, put on as a show, an act. If you're new to my channel, I talk about how the games are scripted through numbers, and to read this language, you have to know gematria. Notice that Seattle won the game 17-16. They won it with a final pass as time expired, known as a Hail Mary, a long touchdown pass. The quarterback who threw it was Trevone Boykin, or maybe Trevone Boykin. I'm not sure how he pronounces his name. But I want you to notice that he had 26 attempts on the game. He wears the number 2. The receiver who caught it wears the number 6. 2-6 is a lot like 26. He had 26 attempts, a final Hail Mary from number 2 to number 6. We're talking about Seattle, home of the 206 area code. Russell Wilson in Super Bowl 48 had 206 passing yards. We'll come back and talk more about 26 and 206 because there's a whole lot more to it. But where I want to start is with how it was the 42nd pass of the game that was caught for the Hail Mary touchdown. In gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, Hail Mary sums to 42, and so does touchdown. Just a couple weeks ago, there was a story about the Dallas Cowboys team bus crashing at milepost 42. Bus in gematria also happens to sum to 42. This was a riddle, this Cowboys crash story for the upcoming season. I have a video on it if you want to watch. This number 42 is very important to the NFL and very important to the Freemasons. It's Freemasonry that invented football as we know it in America. It is Freemasons who own and operate the NFL. Many of these players are indoctrinated into Freemasonry, such as Russell Wilson, the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. So let's watch the highlight real quick, how this game ended 17-16, and then we'll decode the rest. There's a lot here. We're going to talk about why the quarterback threw the ball, why the receiver caught it, plus more, as well as the parallels to Super Bowl 48. Here's the highlight right here. Notice it begins at the scrimmage line, the 37-yard line where the play begins.
I used them all up there during preseason. Here's the 25 yards. And here it is. Here we go. Easy ball.
So number 2 to number 6, and notice number 48 is who was guarding him. The Seahawks won Super Bowl 48. That's who just now did not defend the pass and who allowed the ball to be caught. It's all tributes by the numbers. And notice right here, it's 26 punching it in. 2-6 again. Wait until I show you about that receiver. Wait until I show you about the receiver in the city of Seattle. It's a beautiful Seattle tribute and Super Bowl 48 tribute, which we'll get right to. So 17-16, a sum of 33 points, a very special number to Freemasonry. It's their number of obsession. When the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, it was on February 2nd, the 33rd day of the year. It was the first time ever a Super Bowl was played on the 33rd day of the year. The Seahawks in gematria, Seahawks sums to 33. Again, the final pass was from number 2 to number 26. It was his 26th pass of the game. This is a very special number in gematria. The word God in gematria sums to 26. G's the 7th letter, O's the 15th, D's the 4th. Added up, 26. In the Hebrew alphabet, the letters are also numbers. The Hebrew alphabet is known as a counting system. The word God in the Hebrew alphabet also sums to 26, and gematria is incorporated with the Hebrew alphabet. These are systems. The Bible, the Old Testament that the Jewish faith goes by, was written in Hebrew. The New Testament that the Christians go by was written in Greek. In Greek, also a numbering system, the alphabet. Their alphabet was originally 26 letters, just like the English alphabet is 26 letters. Very special number. One of my oldest videos is about the Vesica Piscis, the mandorla, this Christian symbol that looks like a fish, looks like a football. I talk about the mathematics of 26 and what it has to do with that shape, the fish body, the football. There's a mathematical relationship. It is in big part the reason the football is the shape that it is. The football, its shape, it's also known as the mandorla, and mandorla has gematria of 33, like the final sum of the score of the game. Gematria mandorla right there. You might recall that The Simpsons, an earlier episode, predicted a Broncos-Seahawks Super Bowl. And Homer Simpson bet wrong. He bet on the losing team, just like Vegas mostly bet on the Broncos. That was the biggest winning year ever for Vegas. The score in the Broncos, or the Simpsons game, summed to 33 on the screen. I think the score was 19-14. Simpson in gematria also sums to 33. These games are scripted long in advance. They've always been by the numbers. So the quarterback who threw it, his birthday is August 22nd, a date that can be written 22/8, United States of America equals 228, death equals 228. Huey P. Newton died on that date. I showed last year what the Black Panther Party had to do with the Super Bowl before it was played. There was the Black Panther tribute at halftime. You had Cam Newton in the Super Bowl. Cam Newton, Huey P. Newton, who established the Black Panthers. I don't think this is any coincidence. Notice also that he was born in the year 93. The receiver who caught the ball was born in the year 93. Saturn is the keeper of time. Saturn is represented by the number 93. These are tributes in time, these scripted events. This man's birth numerology of 52. This year, the Super Bowl will be on 5/2, February 5th. 52, the number of prophecy. Denny Green just died 52 days before the Minnesota Vikings home opener in Tennessee. Tennessee equals 52. Next year, Minnesota, who Denny Green coached, will be hosting Super Bowl 52. Where this man's from, the quarterback, Mesquite, Texas, gematria 52. Mesquite alone sums to 37. Just like Hillsdale sums to 37, the man who caught the balls from Hillsdale, New Jersey. The play started at the 37-yard line of the opponent, the touchdown play, the Hail Mary. He threw it from the 50, but the play started at the 37. And the date it was thrown on was a date with 37 numerology. In Super Bowl 48, Russell Wilson's longest pass of the game was 37 years. The date of the play, August 13th, 2016, also a date with 30 numerology. Saturn equals 30 the small way, 93 the big way, both the receiver and QB, 93 connections. Also a date with 57 numerology. When you write out 57, it sums to the same thing as Super Bowl, the same thing as championship. This was a tribute to the Super Bowl 48. And look, this receiver who caught the balls from Hillsdale, New Jersey, 206. Seattle's the 206 area code. In Super Bowl 48, Russell Wilson had 206 passing yards in the win. Seattle Seahawks in gematria sums to 43. They won 43-8. 43-8. Let me show you Russell Wilson's passing stats. Russell Wilson, 206 yards on the game. Seattle, 206 area code. That's where I live. My phone's a 206 area code. So 2-6, 206. This man's name in gematria sums to 67 like Freemasonry, just like Percy Harvin, who once came to the Seahawks on a $67 million deal. The reflection is 6776, the year the Seahawks were established. Boykin in simple English gematria sums to 76. Seahawks had their first NFL season in 76. I misspoke a second ago. They were established in 74, first season in 76, just like Boykin, who threw the pass. Now here's Tanner MeVoy, born January 26th, born on the 26th day, caught the 26th pass for the Hail Mary. The name McEvoy in gematria sums to 29, just like football the small way, 83 the big way. Best QB draft class of 83. So many NFL stars have 83 coded into their name. His date of birth, date syncing up with Freemasonry, Revelation, Washington. 31, the 11th prime. He also has birth numerology of 120 connecting to Illuminati. Trevone Boykin threw for 188 yards connecting to Bavarian Illuminati. And, the Illuminati is Freemasonry. I just did a video the other day talking about how the 7 US dollar bills, the 100, the 50, the 20, the 10, the 5, the 2, the 1, sum to 188, the Bavarian Illuminati symbolism on the bill. These people own the world we live in, the money, the government, the media, the entertainment, and they put it in front of our face and they code out their numbers all the time. Football occupies a lot of people's minds. All-seeing eye. Last year I was showing the all-seeing eye tributes in the season. Again, touchdown 42, Hail Mary 42, Freemason 42, Missouri 42. The team in Missouri lost on the last play. These Freemasons love to hurt people, hurting the home fans who came out to support the game. In case you're new here, in case you're thinking I'm crazy, last year, January, the week before the Super Bowl, USA Today wrote this article about me, insulting me, mocking my work. The final paragraph, though, validated that my work is true. I want you to notice that in this closing paragraph, he says my blog has 47,000 vile things. The first Super Bowl was in the 47th season of the NFL. I want you to notice that his name is Phillips. In Gematria, Phillips sums to 47. And in the article, he mentions that I probably use a fake name, which is not true, but many journalists do. Phillips is probably not his real last name. I would bet you anything his last name ends with Steen or Berg. The Zionist nation of Israel was established in 47. 47 is a very special number. The word time equals 47. Seattle happens to be on the 47th parallel. It has a space needle that has a rotating restaurant that does a full rotation every 47 minutes. All of these tributes in numbers are to things that have major significance in this world, such as time. Time controls us all. Sports, they're an annual event in sync with the calendar, time. The Freemasons have built this world around us, from the calendar to the language to the sports leagues to the television. It's a network of Masons on the football field, in the media. The end of this article right here also links to this Simpsons episode about the Freemasons. It's called The Stonecutters. We're about to watch this song that he linked called We Do. We Do 47. The Freemasons have something called Euclid's 47th problem that's all about building. These people are builders, and they do it by numbers and measurement. Let's watch this Simpsons song and close it out.
Who controls the British crown? Who keeps the metric system down? We do. We do. Who leaves Atlantis off the maps? Who keeps the Martians under wraps? We do. We do. Who holds back the electric car? Who makes Steve Gutenberg a czar? We do. We do. Who robs Kingfish of their sight? Who rigged every Oscar night? We do. We do.
So there was that little We Do, another tribute to 47, because the first Super Bowl was in the 47th season, and this article was written about me because I exposed what would happen in the Super Bowl before it was played. Since October, I said the Broncos would win the Super Bowl. By November, I said it would be over the Panthers. Between then and the Super Bowl, I said Von Miller would be the MVP. There'd be a Black Panther tribute. Laid it all out, and this article mocked me for it. The only reason I was able to predict all that is because I've learned this number coding system, that sports are scripted, and this is how. So if you're here and wondering if I'm crazy or if this is true, you're like the character in the Matrix right now. Red pill or blue pill. You got to make the decision. If you took the red pill, here's what else you need to know. The quarterback who threw the winning Hail Mary pass, his 26th attempt, the God number, he played college at Texas Christian University, Christian school. I want to remind you what happened in the Alamo Bowl this past year that Texas Christian University played in. He did not play in it, though, because he was suspended, this quarterback. Let me show you this. At halftime, the game was the University of Oregon versus Texas Christian University. At halftime, the Oregon Ducks were up 31-0. And for the whole first half, they had this up on ESPN's front page, number 22 and number 3. The Alamo, this is the Alamo Bowl. The Alamo began February 23rd in history. 2/23, all night, 2-2-3 up for this. Oregon was up 31-0 at halftime. Alamo Bowl in Gematria sums to 31. 31's the 11th prime. Football's a game of 11 on 11. Also, with regards to February 23rd, 2/23, Masonic equals 223 in Gematria. So does Masonic also sums to 74, just like Oregon. Oregon's the 33rd state, the only state that sums to 74. A lot like this nation's birthday, 7/4. The word holiday equals 74. Independence Day equals 74. Everything in this nation is by the numbers. It's bigger than football. This is what Freemasonry is, and this is how they've built the world around us truly. If you didn't watch the game, Texas Christian University would come back to win 47-41. Their backup quarterback is credited with bringing them back. The man who was filling in for the QB who now plays for the Seahawks. Notice ESPN's highlights 33 seconds, that number of Freemason obsession. Look at this. The final score was 41-47. The word Christian equals 47. That special number, the first Super Bowl in the 47th season of the NFL. Think about football and Christianity, church on Sunday and football. The American way in many towns, especially down in Texas, football land. This game summed to 88 points. Purple in Gematria equals 88. TCU wears purple. After the game, after they won, ESPN put up this minute 16 congratulations. Texas Christian University equals 116. No coincidence. ESPN always stamping things by the numbers, numbers of significance. Show you what else is up with this QB. His name, Colehausen in Gematria, sums to 42. Popular number. Alamo in Gematria sums to 42. Alamo Bowl, backup QB. They're currently thinking about making a movie about this game and this quarterback for his heroics. So anyhow, the final score was 41-47. 41, the 13th prime number. Another number related to the Alamo. The Alamo lasted 13 days. 41, the 13th prime number. USA equals 41. Began with 13 colonies. There's 13 stripes on the flag. We go to public school, K-12, for 13 years. Right after the Alamo Bowl, the big breaking news was that there was a standoff at an Oregon Federal building. And right away, I got a big grin on my face because I'd been exposing to the world how sports were synced up with popular culture. Just like I said the Super Bowl would be a race war tribute, how I predicted the Black Panther connections, Broncos versus Panthers. Anyhow, right after the Alamo Bowl, where Oregon loses, a Oregon standoff. And I said that day, it was January 2nd it began, I said if this lasts 41 days, it will end on the 42nd day of the year. Alamo equals 42, plus it'll be 41 days. Just like Oregon lost with 41, 41's the 13th prime. The real Alamo lasted 13 days. This standoff lasted exactly 41 days. It ended February 11th. Sports are scripted. News are scripted. When you take the red pill, you see just what you're living in. A big grand deception that's all about controlling your mind-eye. You know, there's a lot of reasons they do all this to us. You know, the sports, they keep the men on their asses. They keep the kids dreaming about being pro athletes. You know, most kids don't realize if you want to be in the pro leagues, you have to be born into this Masonic network. You have to be born to be. You can go back and watch my older videos. You can go back and watch me make the prediction months ago. You know, it's a scripted world, and I figured out a lot of what the script is. This channel is about teaching that, exposing the knowledge so more people can help me with the research. My dream is that this year I'll have 10 fans of each NFL team who are interested in this, who are paying attention to the games, who are documenting the things that I am. What I just showed you about this Hail Mary play, what I just showed you about this college championship, this stuff happens every single week. Professional sports. It isn't just football, it's all of them. So I hope that happens. And when I said 10 people, really I hope it becomes thousands of fans and more people contributing. But if I can just imagine if there were 10 people for each team helping me out, sending me what to look at, compiling notes, we would really crack this thing open to the next level. There's still ways to go with this research. There's always more. Until next time, Truth Seekers.